Hello and welcome to the Boileroom and Four Walls collaboration. My name is Dom and I work here at the Boileroom in Guildford.
Baby, if we drive fast and don't come back.
I had the pleasure of interviewing Rwandan artist Moise, who's currently based in Minneapolis in America. We chatted about his debut album, Postcards I Forgot to Send, his trip back home to Rwanda, and also his love of 90s Britpop. This is Moise.
What's good, y'all? Coming to you from my studio in St. Paul. My name is Moise. This is my brother Elliot playing on the guitar. Thanks Four Walls for having us. We're gonna play some songs for y'all tonight or today, whatever time it is where you're seeing this. Yeah, stick around. Times I pray that you come back. I think I deserve another chance. I spend all my days playing back up my plays on you, reminiscing all the ways I could have broke through. When I open my eyes in the morning, I see your face, but you're not there to say, hey. It's an empty feeling that I've been concealing. Soon you'll realize I'm working inside.
Hello and welcome to Four Walls here at the Boileroom with me, Dom Fraser. I'm joined by Moise today and we're going to be having a little chat. So welcome. I have been listening pretty constantly to Postcards I Forgot to Send. And I figured like we would just kind of jump in talking about like the melting pot of sounds that you've got going on. Tell me a little bit about the inspiration.
I never was really too intentional with like the sound starting off with the album. I just knew it was definitely going to be a mixing pot of like all the influences I've been like raised on, whether that's like, you know, early Michael Jackson and Prince, where you got, you know, the screaming falsettos with just, you know, some sexy bass lines, you know. I've just kind of been exposed to like different types of music, and it just comes out in my own. Unfortunately, the reason why I was in Rwanda originally was to see family. My grandma had passed not too long ago, so it was kind of time to go back home. So at the time, I was also finishing the album and had the visual for like what the art was gonna be. While I was in Rwanda, I knew that there's gonna be beautiful scenery, and just me having that time to be back home and see and be around a totally different environment that is home but different. I knew that there's something there that I wanted to capture along the way. So that ended up working its way into the visual side of the album of this dude kind of going back home and putting together all these like messages of songs that are based on like emotions that you oftentimes don't get to say. I was really interested that the cover of your album with you with the bottle. What was the thought behind that whole kind of artwork? That shot with the group of kids was very spontaneous, actually. We were shooting on Lake Kivu, and we'd probably been going for like 20 minutes at that point, just getting a whole bunch of shots. The bottle was there, I was there in that kind of suit, and we're just kind of like running and gunning, just trying different looks. So there's like this group of kids just kind of like watching us, and they were just kind of like amazed and just really super interested, kind of laughing and pointing. And then like I just had this idea. I was like, yo, let's like maybe incorporate these guys, and like I think it'd be a great idea to like get a shot where I'm throwing up the bottle, just to kind of continue that message, the act of like throwing that bottle up to them, and hopefully they take whatever they get from this album or whatever's in this postcard and are able to like tell those stories and continue it. I noticed as well it was like written in various cities. Obviously, you're based in Minneapolis, but it says Manchester and London. Tell me about working over here. How did that all come about? My friend Will Levison, who we met on SoundCloud probably like 2 years ago. I think he was just putting out kind of like these beats on SoundCloud, and I think I stumbled on one that had like maybe like literally like 2-3 plays. And I found it, and I just messaged Will. I was just like, hey, like I love your stuff. Yada yada yada. And then like he hit me back not too long after that, and then we kind of like started talking. I found out he was living in Manchester, and the very first kind of song that we ever started kind of working on was Wildflower, which I put out like 2 years ago, and that ended up being like really successful and a fun track to make. So we just kept that relationship kind of going and growing. You mentioned that track. Is that the track that you did on the Colours studio session? Yeah. That's Will, that's the guitarist, is it? Yeah, and that was actually the first time we ever met each other, was to do those. Yeah. Yeah. Here we have this song, and we hadn't like played it live together before. And we also hadn't gotten to meet each other. So it was just like throwing us into that, I think just made us like, he's one of my best friends and also really talented musician. So did you play everything on the album, or did you bring people in to play, or how did you kind of orchestrate that? I definitely don't play everything. I do play a bit of guitar, and recently I've learned some bass as well, but really I think I just have a pretty decent ear, and I'd have a good circle of like friends that are also really talented. So, you have horns by like my friend DeCarlo Jackson of Hip Hop Campus, Josh Johnson on saxophone, and then a couple of the producers on there as well. I had met as friends, and they're also kind of local to Minneapolis. Tell me a little bit about, because I've never been to Minneapolis, the music scene, if you will, over there. Yeah, the vibe here in Minneapolis, we definitely have like a rich music history. We have artists such as like Prince, The Replacements, Lizzo. As far as like clubs, First Avenue I think is probably the most famous one. It was in Purple Rain, in Prince's film. They try to put on artists and give us like some of the more local acts some opportunities to really play and grow your fan base. I do kind of miss that scene and enjoying it rather than just like being in studios. I'm looking forward to when that is able to pop back up. Yeah, I bet it's kind of like here, I'm in the venue at the moment. We have some touring staff, but we do a lot of local artists come and play, and then we'll have touring staff, and we kind of try and give opportunities
times at the moment are like, who knows when we'll be able to go out and enjoy live music like we used to. I don't know if we'll ever be able to do it like we used to.
I don't know. I'm a bit of an optimist, so like I feel like if we do figure it out, you know, those like 200 capacity rooms like the ones that you're in, the energy's still going to be there. You know, I feel like it might be even, you know, stronger to start off.
I wanted to talk a little bit about your activism as well, because I read the essay that you wrote, and obviously Minneapolis is known for a lot of other things as well as what we're talking about, the music. So tell me about your kind of journey into, you know, like I saw on your Instagram, there's some footage of you cycling, and kind of like, it must be a really, a lot of trauma, you know, in your city, and like, how is that manifesting right now from obviously what's happened in the last few months there?
I think first off, I would definitely like to say, like, I wouldn't consider myself to be necessarily like an activist. You know, I definitely still am a person first, and then happen to be an artist. Being here in Minneapolis, the George Floyd situation really brought light to kind of the reality that many of us already were like aware of. You know, in hindsight, it definitely, unfortunately, a fortunate event, but it's brought to light some of those injustices to people that often were turning like a blind eye to it. It was like nothing I'd ever really been through here. And to watch it kind of spread to all over the world, it really kind of took off, and the people were really inspired to like do something and speak out. That's the part that made me smile a little bit when it was definitely kind of tough, and definitely I was just like so in it, you know?
I really hear you with that. Obviously, you're influenced by everything that's going on around you, and that comes out in your music. Have you been writing during this time as well? Are you working on new tracks at the moment? Where's your kind of future projection right now?
I think for the last couple of months, I've been making the best music, honestly, of my life. I'm like in the studio every night, basically, making songs. So and I do enjoy that part.
Yeah. How are you staying engaged with like your fans?
Yeah, first, like there was all these at-home sessions and live streams and stuff. Like I even did a colors at-home session at first when the lockdown hit, which was cool because that gave us like a little bit of an audience, and you could kind of like in the chat talk to people. But like, yeah, there's just still something that isn't the same as far as engagement that you can't get versus actually playing in front of people.
Yeah, I am an optimist like you. I do have a bit of hope that I think that the want from people will always be there. You know, as a person that's worked in live for like 20 years, I can't imagine a world without being able to see, you know, live music. You mentioned about collaborations and things, and I noticed in your bio as well that you'd collaborated with some people too. Have you thought about reaching out to, like, you know, who would be your like dream collab? Because I guess everyone has time on their hands right now, don't they? Everyone's like, well, there's nothing else to do.
Yeah, I do have a couple kind of like in the works. I guess one exciting one I can kind of speak about is there's this band called Gangs, which is a side project of this producer named Ryan Olsen and Justin Vernon, Bon Iver. So I've been able to be a part of that over a couple sessions. And yeah, we've been kind of doing sessions here and there throughout that timeline. And they already released one single. Those are kind of opportunities that might not happen if everyone was kind of living their busy schedule day to day and didn't have time to like do these sessions and be in a room.
Thank you, Moise, for joining me today on Four Walls. I just want to say thank you again, and hopefully we'll see you very soon.